Dan Labbe and Mary Kay Cabot, the Browns just lost to the Kansas City Chiefs 22-17 in the divisional round. Mary Kay, we are both at Arrowhead Stadium. Your background much better than mine. So I want to talk about this game specifically because Patrick Mahomes left the game with a concussion, and Chad Henne came in, and the Browns still lost. And so I'm wondering, in your mind, without looking at the big picture, just looking at this game in a vacuum, did the Browns miss an opportunity today?
I think they really did. I mean, anytime you can hold the Chiefs to 22 points and anytime that you can try to finish out a game when the superstar quarterback is not in the game, it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to go to the AFC Championship game and try to beat the Bills and try to get yourself into the Super Bowl. And I just thought it was a game in which there were too many mistakes that they had not been committing in previous games, including turnovers, a number of dropped passes. I don't know how many you counted, Dan, but I counted, I would say probably 5 dropped passes, maybe. Even that one that went off Jarvis's hands, that could have been the game killer right there, that Tyrann Mathieu dropped what would have been a second pick. So it was just a mistake-filled game, in my opinion. I just don't think it was the kind of Cleveland Browns football that they wanted to play.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that they'll look back on in that first half. They had a drive with 2 Nick Chubb drops, a holding penalty, and they just put themselves in a hole against a Chiefs team that'll let you back in the football game, and that certainly happened here. But to get off to that slow of a start, but then, in that fourth quarter, to have that opportunity, to have the football, to have Chad Henne on the other side, and to not be able to come away with a win, it's hard to not be a little disappointed that the Browns aren't playing in the AFC Championship game after really having an opportunity to come here and steal a victory from the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, absolutely, because anything can happen if you make that stop on third down right there, right? With all the good defensive players that the Browns have, you would think that in some way, shape, or form, they're not going to let 35-year-old Chad Henne run for 13 yards on a 3rd and 14 from his 35, and the biggest play of your season. Obviously, that can't happen. But once again, it was one thing out of many that went wrong in this game. And again, when you take Patrick Mahomes out of the equation, you 100% for sure think that you're going to be able to come back and win this game, especially when you get within 5 points of the defending Super Bowl champs. So it was a missed opportunity. It was a big missed opportunity. And, hopefully it'll just make them hungrier to come back next year and make sure that they're ready to win and close out a game like this. But I'll tell you what, they're going to watch that film and they're going to see that they hurt themselves a lot and that they could have won this game like we all thought. I thought they could win the game. I really did believe that they could win the game, but I predicated that on the fact that they needed to play a clean game. They needed to win the turnover battle, and Baker needed to not throw any interceptions, and they needed to just play the kind of sound football that got them to this point, and they didn't do that.
Okay, so now spinning this to the big picture, of course. This season, it's impossible to look at this season and say that it wasn't a successful year. You've got to feel good about the coach, got to feel good about the quarterback and where this team is going. So coming out of this loss, kind of separating that from everything else, what do you think the future looks like for this football team?
I think it's very bright, and I think it's going to be bright for a long time. And I think that's what Browns fans can hang their hat on and get excited about. This is an organization that is in alignment from the top to the bottom. They know where they're going. They know how they want to get there. I think Kevin Stefanski is going to look at this game and grow and learn from it and realize that there were probably some things in this game too that he could have done differently. So I think from everyone is pulling together. The culture has changed. As Baker Mayfield once said again after the game, we've set a new standard. This is the standard. And this wasn't even the standard. The standard was to go out here and win this. They believed that they would. They believed that they could. Didn't help them that they lost Jed Wills on the first offensive play of the game. That didn't help at all. There were other things that I thought could have been done a little differently. Seize the moment with Kareem Hunt a little bit more in this game, right? Kareem Hunt wanted to bring it to his former team, but the future is bright, and it's bright for a long time. The Browns are no longer going to be a laughing stock. They're no longer going to be the butt of jokes. That's over. That is over. And that whole the Browns thing, that's going to be over too, because people are going to see that this football team is going to make a lot of noise, not just in the AFC North, but in the NFL over the next how many ever years.
Well, and here's the way to think about it, right? We come away from this game and we talk about the missed opportunity, but we're talking about how bright the future is. But you also come away from this game understanding that a year from now, if you lose this game, it's going to be really different, right? The disappointment level, it's not going to be acceptable. And that's a good thing for Browns fans. They should have those expectations, and that's what this organization is going to expect too, with an offseason, with money, shore up that defense, second year in Kevin Stefanski's offense. The arrow is just pointing up and up right now.
And it's going to need to, and here's why. Because that guy out there that didn't finish the game tonight, Patrick Mahomes, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's younger than Baker Mayfield, okay? So Patrick is amazing, and he didn't even really have, his full offensive line. They didn't have their starting running back, and they were kind of starting to, take it to the Browns a little bit. I thought they did a nice job of holding them to a couple field goals there. But, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, the road is probably going to either go through Buffalo or Kansas City. At least it seems like that right now. And then you've got Joe Burrow coming down the pike and coming back from his ACL, and it's not going to get any easier. So this is the standard, and this is where the bar is set right here, and they've got to figure out how to win and beat these guys.
And who knows where Deshaun Watson's going to end up.
That's right. That's another
certainly
thing.
Change the balance of power in the AFC as well.
He could end up somewhere close, close. I mean, you never really know, and he is amazing.
But certainly, finally a building block year for this football team. And so I guess for you, what's the first order of business here? What's the first thing that they need to do? Is it go out and attack that defense?
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. I mean, there's not all that much more you can do right now to add, to the offense. I mean, they'll add a few pieces here or there, but for the most part, they're pretty well set. It is time to bolster the defense. And then the other orders of business will be to talk about starting to wrap up some of these guys and make sure that you have them long-term. The Denzels, the Bakers, the Nick Chubbs, and things like that. And we have plenty of time to talk about that, but this is a good core nucleus of a football team, and they need to keep it together.
Okay, so the Browns eliminated by the Kansas City Chiefs. They make it all the way to the divisional round, win their first playoff game since 1995. It was the 1994 season. And, look, right now I think everyone's certainly disappointed with this loss, but I think most Browns fans feeling good about where this team is headed.
Absolutely.